It's 6 o'clock yet. We got
Yes,
another
ma'am.
minute. It's at 6, sir.
It is 6 o'clock, straight up.
That's Sam Bailey, I mean.
Y'all got 6 too.
I got
I got 6:01.
Okay.
I'm ready, Chief.
Good evening. It's 6 o'clock. This is our regular Tuesday, November 23rd meeting. Called to order. We have invocation by Pastor Clay Padgett. Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner B.I.
Good evening. Let's pray. Father, we just come before you, especially this week, with thanksgiving in our heart, and just thank you for your grace that's upon us, the favor that you pour out upon us continuously, God. And we just pray, God, that this week we would just truly begin focusing on those things that are important and all the blessings that you've given us. Oh, we've all faced hard and difficult times, but you brought us through, and for that we're very grateful. We ask that you continue to be with our leadership and bless them in their efforts to lead us forward. God, that you would cause favor to rest upon them. God, that you would bring jobs and businesses and things that are productive for our community to us, Lord. And we'll thank you for we continue to ask this in the name of Jesus. Amen.
No, you good right there.
I proudly pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Under presentation and delegations, recognize Kim Morton as Electric Department as October 2010 Employee of the Month.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I feel like I've been up here all day. Usually, when we do this Employee of the Month, and the Electric Department is privileged with getting recognition, I usually try to write something down, but tonight I'm just going to speak from the heart. Kim Morton is my right-hand person. 2 years ago, she had some 6'6" guy come in and with a bunch of crazy ideas, and we are going to do AMI and outage management and new billing system and this and that and the other 100 crazy ideas that I come up with. She takes the brunt of all of it, and when something needs to be done that we haven't accounted for, or we try to do a lot of planning, Kim is the first one that just jumps in there and says, I'll do it. And she does it right, she does it complete, and I just can't say enough for the professionalism and the help that she gives me in our department. So it takes great pleasure to present this to Kim, the October 2010 Employee of the Month for the City of Griffin.
I've always been really proud of where I work, but lately it's been exciting, all the things that are going on, and thanks to everyone here for helping us come such a long way. Thank you for this, and also thank you very much for our fence and the parking deck. I'm really excited about that.
You're welcome. Okay, we'll move right on to citizen comments. At this time, the chairperson opened the floor to comments from the audience. Comments should relate to a specific agenda item not listed on the agenda for a public hearing, or to a concern within the jurisdiction of the city. Commission meetings serve the purpose of conducting city business and are not a forum for the unlimited expression of opinion. The chairperson reserves the right to limit comments to germane to city business and may refer speakers to the city manager or other staff members for resolution. Is there anyone to my left that would like to come forward and address the board? Is there anyone on the right that would like to come forward and address the board? No, you didn't. Did you raise your? You didn't raise your hand, did you? You. No, I didn't think so. Okay. Okay. Having none, we'll move into public hearings. Receive comments from interested parties and entities, particularly members of racial or language minority groups, as to the standards and procedures to be followed by the city for reapportioning election districts following publication of the 2010 decennial census. Pursuant to the authority of OCGA 3635-4.1.
Good evening.
Oh, there you are.
The purpose of this evening's public hearing is to receive comments from affected or interested persons and entities on the standards and procedures for reapportioning city election districts following publication of the 2010 decennial census pursuant to the authority of OCGA, Section 36-35-4.1. The 2010 decennial census is expected to be released early next year, with final population counts available in late March 2011. The City of Griffin will hold a general municipal election for the at-large District 2 and District 4 seats on the Board of Commissioners on November 8, 2011, with qualifying for those positions to open on August 29, 2011. The original apportionment of the city's governing board into one at-large and 6 single-member districts was in accordance with a consent decree entered in Reed versus Martin, Civil Action File Number C-84-60N, United States District Court for the Northern District of Georgia in 1986. Thereafter, pursuant to the statutory mandate of OCGA Section 36-35-4.1, the Commission, following publication of each future decennial census, has reapportioned election districts by enactment of a Home Rule Ordinance. The current plan was enacted and set forth in Georgia Laws 2003, page 5011, or 5011, and the current map showing the election districts is here in the hearing room tonight if anybody wants to inspect it. Section 3635-4.1 provides that, subject to the limitations provided by this code section, the governing authority of any municipal corporation is authorized to reapportion the election districts from which members of the municipal governing authority are elected following publication of the United States Decennial Census of 1980 or any future such census. Such reapportionment of districts shall be effective for the election of members to the municipal governing authority at the next regular general municipal election following the publication of the decennial census. The limitations of this Home Rule authority referred to above are found in subpart B of the statute. The municipal governing authority shall by ordinance amend its charter pursuant to paragraph 1 of subsection B of Code Section 3635-3 to reapportion the districts in accordance with the following specifications. 1. Each reapportioned district shall be formed of contiguous territory, and the boundary lines of such districts shall be the center lines of streets or other well-defined boundaries. 2, variations in population among such districts shall comply with the one-person, one-vote requirements of the United States Constitution. And 3, the reapportionment shall be limited to adjusting the boundary lines of the existing districts only to the extent reasonably necessary to comply with the requirements of paragraph 2 of this subsection. The number of members of the municipal governing body and the manner of electing such members, except for the adjustment of district boundary lines, shall not be changed by the municipal governing body. Now, in addition to exercising the authority of this statute, once an ordinance is enacted, the ordinance will then be submitted to the United States Department of Justice Civil Rights Division for pre-clearance under Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act of 1965 as amended. Timing becomes of the essence in this process, since the Department of Justice is entitled to 60 days from the date of receiving a complete submission in order to ascertain whether or not to interpose an objection. An objection shall be interposed to a submitted change if the Attorney General is unable to determine that the change neither has the purpose nor will have the effect of denying or abridging the right to vote on account of race, color, or membership in a language minority group. The burden of proof is on the submitting jurisdiction. I might add that the 2006 reauthorization of the Voting Rights Act added protection to language minority groups, which has not been a subject of prior reapportionments. Now, in its regulations, which were recently amended, the Department of Justice sets forth basic relevant factors that the Attorney General will consider in making his determination. A, the extent to which a reasonable and legitimate justification for the change exists. B, the extent to which the jurisdiction followed objective guidelines and fair and conventional procedures in adopting the change. C, the extent to which the jurisdiction afforded members of racial and language minority groups an opportunity to participate in the decision to make the change. D, the extent to which the jurisdiction took the concerns of members of racial and language minority groups into account in making the change. And E, the factors that are set forth in the Supreme Court decision of Arlington Heights versus Metropolitan Housing Development Corporation, which is a 1977 U.S. Supreme Court decision, including whether the impact of the official action bears more heavily on one race than another, the historical background of the decision, the legislative or administrative history, the specific sequence of events leading to the submitted change, whether there are departures from normal procedural sequence, and whether there are substantial departures from the normal factors considered. The DOJ regulations also set forth relevant factors for consideration of redistricting plans. 1, the extent to which malapportioned districts deny or abridge the right to vote of minority citizens. Here, minority citizen refers to both racial and language minority groups. 2, the extent to which minority voting strength is reduced by the proposed redistricting. This is the retrogressive standard under Section 5. 3, the extent to which minority concentrations are fragmented among different districts. And 4, the extent to which minorities are over-concentrated in one or more districts. Those last two standards are sometimes referred to as fragging and packing.
Say that again.
Fragging and packing. That's what it's referred to sometimes in the court cases. 5, the extent to which available alternative plans satisfying the jurisdiction's legitimate governmental interest are considered. 6, the extent to which the plan departs from objective redistricting criteria set by the submitting jurisdiction, ignores other relevant factors such as compactness and contiguity, or displays a configuration that inexplicably disregards available natural or artificial boundaries. And 7, the extent to which the plan is inconsistent with the jurisdiction's stated redistricting standards, those being the standards, 3 standards I read a moment ago from OCGA 3635 4.1. In accordance with the 2006 reauthorization of the Voting Rights Act, a jurisdiction's failure to adopt maximum possible number of majority minority districts shall not be the sole reason for the Attorney General to determine a redistricting plan as a discriminatory purpose. That is another change from the 2006 legislation that we've not had to deal with in the past. Equally, and on the other hand, protection of incumbents may also, as a factor, run afoul now of the factors I've just read to you. So you wouldn't come down if there's an incumbent in office, and yet when you're redrawing the district lines, if somebody's so close to the fringe of an existing district that they get thrown over to another district, you wouldn't necessarily reach down to pick that person up just simply to keep them in order to protect incumbents. All right, turning now to the procedure the city anticipates to be followed in the reapportionment process. At a commission workshop held on September 14, 2010, I reviewed with this Board of Commissioners the legal standards to be addressed and presented a proposed timetable of key events that need to take place leading up to the 2011 general municipal election. Chairperson Ward also wrote the Georgia Reapportionment Services Office requesting their technical assistance in this process. The city will be advised by Reapportionment Services once the new census data has been downloaded, and we will then send representatives to Atlanta to begin the mapping process. It's anticipated the Commission should evaluate and select a redistricting plan by mid-May in order to conduct a public hearing on the specific plan by its second regular meeting in May, or at the very latest, the first meeting in June. Our goal is to enact a home rule ordinance adopting the new redistricting plan by no later than June 21st, and then to make the necessary filings with the state of Georgia and submit the plan to the Department of Justice for Section 5 pre-clearance. This is a very tight, aggressive schedule, yet given the parameters found in other Georgia election laws, we now have little alternative but to proceed in this manner on this timetable to meet the mandates of the various laws. With this background and explanation, I would now ask the Chair to open the floor to comments from citizens relating to this process, the factors the city will follow in the process, and any related concerns, particularly from members of racial or language minority groups. I'll point out that a record is being made of comments made tonight and of any participation in this hearing. Also, following the hearing, any interested person or group may file written comments with the city manager which will be included in the record of public participation that will ultimately become part of the Section 5 submittal by the city. If there are no questions, I'd ask you to open the floor.
Well, may I make a comment and question?
Yes.
First comment's facetious, but last time I did this, we were hearing reports of somebody flying airplanes into the World Trade Center, and we all were sent home eventually, so I'm a little leery of this process. But one of the issues that came up at that one was we had one commissioner who basically wanted to represent a whole different chunk of the county. And he pressed hard to change the boundaries radically and move us around a lot. So many of us would have been representing a fair number of people who didn't vote for us. Now, and Ms. Harp was there, I don't know if she remembers that, but if what I'm hearing you say is, under the new guidelines, if you will, that wholesale changes are to be frowned upon and only what I consider to be reasonable changes to juggle boundaries to make all this balance is what we're shooting for. Is that correct?
That is correct. And let me first off say that there's a little bit of difference between county reapportionment and city municipal reapportionment. The difference being we can do ours by the authority of this home rule statute. We can adopt an ordinance, a home rule ordinance, amending our own charter to the extent we're redistricting. County cannot do that. The county has to submit theirs to the General Assembly, who has to pass legislation reapportioning the county.
That's right, I remember that now. That's
So
right.
now, under our statute, under 3635 4.1, you've got three factors. That third factor, which I just read, I'll point out again, says the reapportionment shall be limited to adjusting the boundary lines of the existing districts only to the extent reasonably necessary to comply with the requirements of paragraph 2.
Okay.
Paragraph 2 is the proportionality rule of the one person, one vote constitutional problem.
Right. Okay.
Any other questions?
This is a public hearing. Is there anyone from the audience that'd like to come forward and address this item on the agenda? Any other comments from the commissioners?
Thank
Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I don't know if you call us addressing what he said. I'd like to know if I could have copies of what you have said, so that, tell me where I can find it.
Yes, we'll be glad to make sure you have a
Yeah.
copy.
And this is just the beginning of our public hearings, because I just happened to look at the newspaper and see that this was going to be this evening, so I've not had a chance to give much thought to what was going to take place. But certainly we are interested in, particularly interested, yes, I remember what happened 10 years ago. And we did make there were some funny circumstances that existed. So if you would get me what you have just read, particularly the changes, which we have not been abreast of, then we can give some
Jewel, we'd be
attention
more than glad to make a copy. And also, for the record, if you'll state your name and who you represent.
Okay, I'm Jewel Walker Harbs, I'm president of the local Griffin branch NAACP. And of course, we would like to be kept abreast of whatever you're doing, and whenever possible, if you're having meetings or whatever, that would keep us abreast of the process which you, and the procedures which you are using, then we certainly would be appreciative of that.
Well, we'd be more than glad to, mail you as representative of the NAACP any future notices as we go through this process.
Did you read what we have in our, is that what we have here? I didn't read all this.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I thought it was, okay.
I'll paraphrase a little, trying to shorten it up, but
Okay.
pretty
Is there
much
anyone else from the audience that would like to come forward and address this item on the agenda?
I'd like the minutes to show also that Terry Collins is here. She's our director, county election board.
Okay. All right. Okay, we'll move into the consent agenda.
Madam Chair, I move, if you don't mind, that we approve the minutes of the regular scheduled meeting of November 9th as presented.
I second that.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by show of hands.
And I took these separately because,
Okay.
and Madam Chair, I move that we approve the minutes of the workshop of same date as presented.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, let it be known by a show of hands. Okay.
And final item in the consent agenda is I move we approve on second and final reading the ordinance to amend our water conservation drought management plan.
Second motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by a show of hands. Thank you. Okay. We'll move to our regular agenda. Consider approval to purchase a 2011 Ford Expedition short wheelbase two-wheel drive from Allen Vigil in the amount of $23,600 under state contract. Approve the transfer of scrap metal sales cash to electric operating cash account in order to pay the purchase in cash and amend the budget accordingly.
I move that we approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by a show of hands. Thank you. 7-0. Consider approval of a contract between the City of Griffin and Southeastern Wood Pole Inspectors Incorporated for pole maintenance and pad mount inspection in the amount not to exceed $10,000.
Make a motion to approve. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by a show of hands. 7-0. Consider approval of a professional services agreement with Tatum Tree Care for removal and pruning of city trees for Public Work and Utilities Department.
I move that we approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 7-0. Consider approval of an agreement between the City of Griffin and Manley Acquisition Services, LLC, to negotiate acquisition of easement for the 2010 Community Development Block Grant parcels.
I move we approve the agreement.
Second.
I have a motion and a second.
Question.
Go ahead.
Do we need to abstain from that vote? Myself and
yes.
Cynthia?
Yeah, I
You
shouldn't have
and
even
Will.
done it. I shouldn't have, do it,
I'll
Joy.
do it.
Let's see,
Okay.
well, I guess really
think
it'd probably be
that's
best if, since everybody's here tonight, if all three of y'all would abstain participation on
Okay.
that.
Okay. Item number 8, we will consider approval of an agreement between the City of Griffin and Manley Acquisition Services, LLC, to negotiate acquisition of easements for the 2010 Community Development Block Grant parcel. All
Chair,
those, do I hear a motion?
I move we approve.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, it's 4 with 3 abstentions.
Okay.
You don't have that.
Okay.
That was-
Consider approval of an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Griffin and Spalding County Government for Section 319H FY10 grant, BMP installation of stream restoration to address NPS and sediment TMDL in the Potato Creek watershed.
Easy for you to say. I move we approve.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, let them know by show of hands. Okay. City Manager's report.
Just a couple of things for your calendar. We need some commitments on attendance at the GMA District 4 meetings. There's a couple of those, one in Jackson on Thursday, December the 2nd, and one in Moreland on the following Thursday, the 9th, and we need to get some RSVPs to those. As you know, they do give you a free meal if you attend, so they do want an RSVP on which one of those would be more convenient. If you can let me know, I'll try to get that out in the next.
Jackson, the closest. That's the one I
Jackson,
would
what's the other one?
Moreland,
Oh, yeah.
The downtown tree lighting ceremony is also that night.
yeah, that does conflict with our downtown tree lighting, which,
When is it done?
Starts at 6, and I think the lighting is 6:30, choirs,
Are you gonna go to
down-
Moreland?
When is the one in Moreland?
the night.
The night?
I mean, I'll be,
I mean, are we gonna start with the, we wanna start our lobbying for the,
I'm hoping on the night, for myself.
I know I can't make it the 2nd, and I'm not sure I can make it the 9th. It's a tough night with other things, but
That's the second is next week, isn't it? Is it
Yes,
next
ma'am.
Next Wednesday.
Thursday.
week from Thursday.
Put me down for the morning.
Yeah.
Week from this week.
Where's Moreland at?
Down near Greenville, Georgia, or Lucasville, Georgia, and between Lucasville and Newton.
home of Lewis Grizzard,
That's right.
that's right.
right off Highway 16 down.
That's gonna be at 6 o'clock, Kenny.
Those are at 6:30, I believe.
It's a little ride. You gotta look
6:30.
Like bouncing in the deer, right? I plan to go on the 9th.
Okay. I don't have to go to the Christmas tree lighting.
Okay.
You gotta go to that.
I don't have to.
If I can make it, it'll be the 9th, but I'm an if for the 9th. I'll have to.
Okay.
I don't know, I sit on the Main Street thing.
Yeah, you.
Anybody else?
Be here for that.
Mm-hmm.
Would it bother, can you go tonight? Or is that too close to any, no,
Me?
You'll be in Happy Land by then.
I'm not, I haven't looked at my calendar. I'm not sure which one of those. I wanted to go till the 2nd, but I'm not sure.
I
might
would
just-
prefer going to the 2nd because it's closer.
I'll say I'm going to that one too.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Ms. Moore.
I'll say I'm going to that one too.
2nd?
The second
I'm just
is
saying.
morning, right?
Second's Jackson, the 9th is Moore.
Jackson.
You can always light the tree. That's the
Anybody else?
mayor's responsibility is to turn the, light the tree.
Okay, just,
General preference, the 2nd is when most of y'all are.
Well, we're all having time getting to either one of them. I was only thinking about the fact that, to get the attention of elected officials, you need to go to these so that we can present this
Scrap metal thing.
scrap metal thing.
I'm gonna be on, like stink on a bug, next few days on that.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
I'm gonna be on them hard on
He's
that.
a stinky bug.
You've already corralled them to talk to them?
We've been corralling.
Yeah,
you can let me know.
For the 2nd.
I'm gonna press
Okay.
the
Okay.
levers harder.
Well, they're gonna be here for the eggs and issues, aren't they? And that will be a good place to get them.
That's right.
a couple of other things. Obviously, a reminder, City Hall will be closed, for Thanksgiving on Thursday and Friday. Airport Road lighting is supposed to be going on right now. I noticed it was raining when we got started, so I'm not sure how that's going. Downtown lighting is on the 2nd at 7, and I did want to remind you about Chamber Eggs and Issues on the 3rd at 7:30 in the morning.
And the Christmas parade.
That's it.
Yeah.
And the chamber needs your RSVP so they plan
For Eggs and Issues, that's correct. That's all I have, Madam Chairman.
The lighting.
Chairperson.
They usually do the choir sing,
We're looking
come over
forward.
and then do the lighting about 6:30.
Is that?
That's all I have.
Do you have anything?
No.
Commissioner Bales?
No.
Commissioner Morrow?
I'm gonna tell the public what I told our chair lady, I should say. I thought she did a nice job today. I liked the way that she worked to build consensus. We obviously don't all agree on some of these things, but everybody made their statement and accepted the consensus, so thank you for that. And also, as always, I'm very much impressed by our department heads and the plans that they have and the initiatives. So I thought it was a great day, and I compliment my fellow commissioners on making it so. And I'm embarrassed I didn't bring 2 or 3 prepared pages like Brian did.
It's a hot shot.
We're grateful.
I'll work on it next year.
Commissioner
If
Colbert?
you're not going
Good
to
job, Ryan.
the Jackson event, I'd strongly would like to encourage everyone to join for the December 2nd downtown tree lighting ceremony. It's become a nice event. Griffin High School Chorus performs out on the courtyard on the risers. Salvation Army band's there. So it's an opportunity for the community to come together and fellowship and kick off the holiday season. And again, I'd like to pass on my thanks to the board and to our department heads. You continue to amaze us and keep working hard, and the public is very appreciative by what I say is in terms of their lack of response to coming to meetings and things. I think the overall the community is very pleased
We
to
have
see.
Shannon. We have-
Overall, the city of Griffin is very pleased
Okay,
with
Henry.
what we're doing, and thank you, Kenny and your team.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner McLemore?
I reiterate that. I guess we met a little over 5 hours today, so it wasn't a short day, but it was a good day, and
Nobody
Told
threw
Henry
anything.
7.
yeah, you disappeared for a couple. I felt like all the comments were real constructive. I thought they were angled towards being constructive. There wasn't a lot of heated interchanges there going on. I think we really came together pretty well today as a board, and I was impressed and pleased and proud to be a part of that board. But thanks a lot for the staff being there. I mean, that was a long day, and I felt a little guilty as I was watching them squirm in their seats today and whatnot, getting ready to get out of there and go do their real business. But I did appreciate it. It meant a lot to me, so it's a good day.
Commissioner Evans?
I think everybody did a outstanding job today. I also would like to, add that I was in charge of these different departments. Y'all doing an outstanding job with what you got to work with. The board, I want to comment, each and every one of y'all did an outstanding job. Like Ms. Morris said, we didn't agree on some things, but overall, we get the job done.
Commissioner Todd.
Right. What we learned today was how hard the department heads and Kenny Smith worked to keep the cost of government down for our citizens. And that is in due measure to the number of qualified directors that we have in our various departments. And we can never thank them enough for understanding that times are tough and adjusting budgets so that the citizens of Griffin can benefit from that. On a light note, it was a pleasure to represent the board to the MEAG Annual Mayor's Conference, and since our mayor couldn't attend, she appointed me to go in her place. And we came away with some goodies. Our team won the golf contest, led by Bill Bosch, and was kind enough to add Harry Todd to that list. And I have to tell you that Harry Todd won the long drive contest.
What?
Yeah, I drove Bill Bosch. Well, Bill can't keep it straight.
Well,
You don't count if you're in the woods.
Harry
or
said that
late.
they had a problem with some of them not hitting it straight. But now, they had two really good players from Canton, Georgia, on their team, school teachers, and one of them just happened to be a golf coach. And so, yes, but they had an outstanding team, and it was really a pleasure. And we learned then about the tough choices for us as far as electricity and serving our customers with the utility, and how good Griffin stands in all of this, and it's an honor to serve on this board. Thank you.
Okay, I don't have any comments.
Make a motion, adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Happy Thanksgiving.